Hi there, welcome to my studio. My name is Siobhan. This is Art Skills Online. This is where I post videos related to figure drawing and specifically how you can develop your own natural and responsive style of drawing through gesture drawing and contour. So in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about what paper is best to use for figure drawing. Last week, I posted a video about the differences between compressed charcoal and willow charcoal. So I will leave a link for that video up there and you can check it out if you're interested. And this week I wanted to talk a little bit about paper, because the reality is that if you're working with charcoal, it's going to have a completely different effect depending on the type of paper that you use. So it isn't really best suited to any type of paper. There are a few things that you need to consider, especially if you're going for a specific look with your marks. And that's actually something that's very important to consider. A gestural and expressive style of drawing really has to take into consideration what marks you use on the page when you're making your drawing. So the kind of paper that you will use will definitely affect the kinds of marks that you're going to get. First of all, I will talk about newsprint. This is very cheap paper. It's the cheapest you can get. The reason figure drawing artists use newsprint mainly is because if you're drawing lots of poses, let's say in a live figure drawing session and you're doing your warm-up poses, you're drawing 1 minute or 30-second poses, then you're going to go through an awful lot of paper. A lot of those drawings you're not really necessarily going to keep. So you really don't want to be making those drawings on very expensive, good quality paper. So that's why people use newsprint. The issue with newsprint, or the problem that I run into anyway, is that while it is a really nice paper to draw on with compressed charcoal, in that you can get very smooth marks as well as clean, crisp lines, for me the issue is that newsprint is just simply not archival quality. In other words, because it's so super thin, it just doesn't last long. And it will actually discolor over time, and it's really hard to frame newsprint. So all in all, it's not a paper you would use if you wanted to make a really good drawing. But having said that, I still really like working on newsprint, and I haven't found something really that compares with it. So I tend to make a lot of my drawings on newsprint anyway. Here I just wanted to show you the difference between compressed charcoal and willow or vine charcoal on newsprint. With compressed you can really get very dark marks, like extremely dark and quite a smooth gradient because of the surface of the paper. Whereas with willow or vine it's very different. It's not going to be as dark on newsprint. Willow often comes out really, really light. Again, use this paper for your warm-ups or your sketches. For longer lasting drawings, you'll have to use a heavier, better quality paper. And the standard go-to paper that figure drawing artists use is something like Strathmore 300 or 500 series. This brand of paper is really good. You can get it in smooth or what's called vellum. People kind of gravitate towards the vellum, which has a bit of tooth. It's like a moderate texture, it's not overly textured, and the charcoal can sort of take hold on the page a little bit better. Generally a smooth or a moderate texture finish on a paper will work really well for charcoal, especially willow or vine. You are able to really move the charcoal around and even erase it out if you need to. Make sure you don't get paper that's shiny or glossy on the surface, because that's going to make the charcoal just slide over the page and it won't adhere to the paper. At the other side of the spectrum, don't get paper that's so heavily textured that your drawing kind of turns out a little bit chunky or grainy. One of the mistakes I used to make is to buy really expensive heavy textured paper, which is actually for watercolor also known as etching paper. And working with something like compressed charcoal on that paper is quite rough and grainy and just doesn't give the same nice kind of elegant finish that you want sometimes with your drawings. So I tend to avoid those very good quality watercolor papers. I find personally a smooth surface just is a lot easier to blend the charcoal and to get nice detailed effects. Then the other thing you need to look at, apart from the surface texture, is the weight. And that's always indicated on the outside of the sketchbook or the sketch pad. So while I do draw in my sketchbook with a pencil or a charcoal pencil or pen, I tend to never use compressed charcoal or vine charcoal in a sketchbook. And that's because the drawing will just get really messed up with all of the opening and closing that you're going to do, unless of course you spray it with fixative. But even at that, I find that it's not great. So I tend to make charcoal drawings on loose leaf pages and just spray the drawings that I want to keep. So to sum up, use a charcoal pencil when you're working on a sketch pad like this or in your sketchbook, and use newsprint for compressed charcoal or for your gesture studies. Then for your more refined and more finished drawings, or for drawing with Willow, use a good quality light to medium texture paper, something that isn't too heavy. Remember that ultimately you should actually experiment with different types of paper all the time, and if something doesn't look right to you, or if you feel that you can't achieve the look that you're going for in your drawing, then just try something new. Mix up your media, try different weights of paper. This video really is just a starting point, and it's up to you to explore your materials as much as you can. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please say hi in the comments and let me know what paper you specifically like to work with. You might have better insights than me into which paper is, more suited to charcoal, and I'd love to hear that. So please let me know. Give this video a like if you think it's worthwhile. Subscribe if you haven't, so we can stay in touch, and I'll see you in the next video.